All right. Again, thank you for stopping by today. Let's talk real quick about how to have a successful relationship. I want to share 5 non-negotiables with you as we move into the modern era. These things are non-negotiable. If you don't think so, you will get dumped. If you don't figure it out, you will get dumped. It's just what it is, okay? And worst, you're going to join communities where misery loves company on the internet, and it's going to get worse. They're going to justify all the BS that you might be telling yourself, all the stories that you're telling yourself. They will justify it, and you will feel good short term, but last you will still get dumped. Okay, and this is especially true for men. Okay, so non-negotiable number one is emotional intelligence. But what do I mean by emotional intelligence? This is a word that's thrown around quite a bit these days, as you can imagine. Everybody throw those words, that phrase, they throw it around. But if you slow them down and say, hey, tell me what that means, they often struggle with what it means. Emotional intelligence is 3 things, okay? It's about mastery of your own emotions, okay? Number 2 is impossible if you don't do number 1 of that, okay? If you don't acknowledge, first of all, that you're an emotional being, you're not going to be capable of paying attention to other people's emotions. That is, the people you're interacting with, you need to pay attention to how emotions is playing out when you're interacting with them. That's number 2. And number 3 would be emotional intelligence at a social level, in terms of social skills, social intelligence. You can call it social skills, social intelligence. Okay, so self-regulation, empathy, and social skills. Okay, those are the 3 things that makes up emotional intelligence. Is basically the ability to recognize, understand emotion as the biggest variable in everything. Okay, in everything, every interaction. I was having a conversation earlier, and somebody was trying to explain how the process of submission between a man and a woman, and the person was explaining it as it is what a woman gives to a man. And then period. I said, nah, bro. So we should pretend that there's no psychology in that process. There's psychology, and it goes, what do you mean by psychology? What does the psychology has to do with this? I almost want to say that's a stupid question, but I try to calm myself these days. It's not a stupid question. No question is stupid, okay? Psychology is involved in, I answered them. I was nice. Psychology is involved in every human interaction, okay? There's more to it than moralizing it, okay? There's more to it than the moral obligation of submission, if that's where you're coming from. So what do I mean by more to it? Well, if you both subscribe to the same religion, the same ideology, and that involves submission, well, the submission is a function of the fact that you have a united front. Not just because if you marry a good wife, she will always submit. That is cap. Okay, you're going to set yourself up for failure in that way. Okay, the psychology involved in that. Okay. So why am I saying that? That's why I'm asking you. The only thing you can apply to that is your emotional intelligence. Again, self-regulation and empathy and social skills. Number 2 is, drum roll, self-love. Okay, self-love. And I'm not talking to selfish people. Selfish people, you already have more than enough self-love. I'm not talking to you. I know you're not going to admit you're selfish. I know. But I'm just saying, let's be careful when we throw that phrase around. There's too many people throwing the phrase self-love around that are just selfish people, okay? There are people that are not considerate. They're never reasonable, but they will justify it with self-love. It's self-love, So the real meaning of self-love is something that everyone must practice, to be fair, okay? To be honest, the real meaning is something that every one of us must practice, so we don't end up pouring from an empty cup. You go into a relationship to give, but if you're pouring from an empty cup, you will end up resenting that process, and then you become selfish, and then you claim it to be self-love, and it's still faulty because it's not sustainable, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to be in relationship with other human beings, not just romantic, but every type of relationship. But I guess for the sake of education, let's talk about romantic relationship. If you're pouring from an empty cup, it's going to bite you in the butt. Okay, self-love is not just about treating yourself. Okay, it's about self-respect. It's about, yes, boundaries. I'm not talking about boundaries you draw around other people, just boundaries around your personal behavior in life. Okay, independence to a large extent, but independence with respect to interdependence. See, ladies, let me talk to you on this one. You don't really see men running around town talking about independence. It's not really a thing because we don't really have the luxury of choosing independence or not as men in our society. And if any man is doing that, we'll hold them accountable. Like, are you crazy, right? But women will yell independence, independence, because I guess they just discovered it, right? Independence with respect to interdependence. You recognize that we're human beings, we're social beings, and we still have to interact with others. And we do get some joy, some level of joy from validation of people, our loved ones. And we just don't want to do an overkill. We don't want to overflog, or we don't want to be coming from a very, very blind place when it comes to validation. We just want to be, as much as possible, intentional. But what self-love really means is independence and security. Self-independence, self-security is something that you have from inside out, and then it helps everybody else find something to copy. They copy you. If you love yourself, they copy how much you love yourself. You respect yourself, they generally tend to mimic that behavior. That's the whole point of self-love. It is not an excuse to be selfish within relationship. Let's move on to number 3. I'm spending way too long on this. Non-negotiable number 3 is active listening. Active listening is impossible without emotional intelligence, which is number 1, and without self-love. Active listening, you have to listen to where people are coming from, more, just as much as you're listening to their words. Don't get stuck on their words. Ask for clarification if you need to. Be clear on where they're coming from. Be patient with yourself. Don't be so quick to jump into conclusion that you know what they mean. You ever heard that word triggering? That's triggering. That's because you're probably jumping into conclusion. It's not your fault that you're triggered. That's not what I'm saying. But I want you to remember self-regulation. I want you to self-regulate yourself and say, hey, let me get some clarification of what this person is saying. This is your relationships. I'm not talking about random strangers on the streets. This is a lot of times your romantic relationship. Make sure you understand where they're coming from. Yes, it's easier said than done, because sometimes you've seen them, you've known them for such a long time that you naturally want to, you can't wait to assume you know what they're going. You've seen this so many times. Guess what? Self-regulate. Okay, pretend that you don't know where they're going. Let them land, let them finish what their thoughts, what they're trying to say, and then ask for clarity. Ask, well, what do you mean by this, right? And that takes a lot of patience, but it comes with a lot of reward if you can master this part right here. As we're moving into the new age, new era of relationship, where we don't have to be with anybody, we can just choose to be single and happy, even though it's bullshit, but we can pretend until right? As we're moving into that, we don't want somebody to come into your life and then disconnect from you randomly, and then you chop breakfast when you could have just master the skills of active listening. Every one of us want to be heard. We want to be seen. Be that person to provide it. Be that person to offer people. We don't have enough of it. Just be the leader in that context and offer that. And if you're a lady and you're the one offering it first, eventually he will feel weird. He will feel awkward that you're the one that have to rise above all the time. Hopefully, but there's a method to the madness. But it's not sustainable that you're the one leading always in that. But you can lead. You can start the cycle of what you like to see in your relationship. Okay, so don't wait. Don't say, oh, a man should be a man. No, don't wait. Whatever you like to see in your relationship, you can start that cycle right now. Okay, so validation. You shouldn't need validation. Stop the cap. Okay, sometimes you need your partner, you need people in your life to validate your thoughts. It's just a little extra. Okay, so let's stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Sometimes you need other people to validate your thoughts. Okay, it's not wrong unless it's a chronic situation, like where somebody just needs you validate all the time. I understand that can be overwhelming, but just being able to say, I hear you, I see I see how you feel, that I feel you. Being able to say that before you say but, right? Your body language, maintaining eye contact, showing that you're actually understanding where they're going at, and being open to the possibility that you haven't fully understood it, and you can ask for clarity. Okay, that's a key thing. Let's move on to number 4. I didn't know this was going to take this long. I'm talking too long. If you're getting value from this, please make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Thank you. Non-negotiable number 4 is identify the objective. Identify the objective. This is something you have to keep in front of you all the time. Why? Because people end up in relationship and then they start arguing and they don't really know why they're in that relationship. It's like, why are you in this relationship? What do you mean why I'm in this relationship? It's like they're triggered by that question. Like, no, actually, for real, why are you in this relationship? Like, calm down. No, I'm in this relationship because I just don't want to dump him. No, slow down. Why are you in this relationship? What is it? What is in it? WIIFM. What's in it for me? What's in this relationship for me? Even if you are going to start with for my children. Okay, let's start from somewhere. Okay. But identify that. Put that in front of you. Make sure it makes sense. Make sure it's sustainable, right? Successful couples, okay? They treat themselves like a team, okay? It's just a given. But as simple as that sounds, it's something that people forget. What people end up in is me versus you, their partner. So, and then they're surprised why it is not what they bargained for. Well, because it's always you against your partner. You've never taken the time, the patience, relax, chill. You say, hey, let me see if I can add some effort to getting this person on my team, because that's the only way this is going to work anyway. Okay? It is you, both of you against the problem, not you versus them. Not I'm right and the other person is wrong. By the way, that equals to wrong and wrong. If only one person is right, that's equals to wrong across the board. Yeah, I know. Maybe you don't do math. Okay? It's like multiplying a negative number by a positive number. What do you end up with? For those of you that know the math. The principles of life are undefeated. They're undefeated. Just pay attention to that, okay? So how do you get to me and you when clearly they're doing something wrong? I know you're looking to align. It's a constant alignment, but once you practice, it becomes easier over time, and then it becomes what it looks like. Couple goals. No, it's because you guys have done the work, okay? So inside of this, you can think about conflict resolution, because what is the objective? What if you're arguing an argument with your partner? What is the objective of this argument? Just talk to yourself for a quick second. Let them keep ranting. They're talking over you. Let them talk over you, right? Now you're taking the leadership role, right? But you're thinking, what's the objective of it? Okay, so you're telling me, okay, what's the problem statement? What problem exactly are we trying to solve here? The same thing you do at your job, do it in your personal relationships. With that being said, everything I said today is easier said than done. It gets easier with time, with practice. Many of you don't practice. Any conversation like this between you and your husband is always awkward because you don't practice, because you think you can wing it along and say, there's no manual for it. There's manual. I just gave you one today. There's manual. Non-negotiable number 5 of 5. It's a moving target. Don't come back and tell me like, but I tried that. It's a moving target. Okay? That's why majority of people are losers in this conversation. Yes, I said it. Majority of people are losers in this conversation. You want to be a winner? It's a moving target. It's something you have to master. Once you master it, there are patterns. You can see it. You can see it coming. You can smell it coming. And guess what? If it's a partner you care about, that you've identified the objective and you know what's in it for you, they would dance to your tune. Why? Because you're a powerful being. They will dance to your, just change the direction of the dance. Step on their toe for a second, quick second. And then you know, like, we're out, right? And then it changes the dynamic, and then you can now start offering some value. Bring some value to your relationship. That's what I'm suggesting here. This is an opportunity. It's a moving target. There is it's never static. It's dynamic in nature. Okay? It's dynamic in nature. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be open to the possibility that you might have to reevaluate every now and then. Every now and then. Where am I at? What happened? Something changed. Something drift. Oh, it's an opportunity to learn. It's a little bit different. Where did you learn this weird behavior from? I've known you for like 15 years. I've never seen this. Welcome to the real world. Yes, people change. It's the reality. And that right there is the anatomy of a healthy relationship. if you're open, if you're a student, you'll be fine. Eventually, you see patterns. It feels like second nature. It feels like you're just happy, and then people will start to say you're lucky. You just happen to be lucky. It's like, hey, I'm lucky. Okay, all right. By the way, the same thing is applicable for parenting and any other form of relationship. If you want to have a healthy relationship, go back over those non-negotiables as we move into the new era. You're not going to be able to get away with manipulative or any type of sort of manipulative behaviors, or the rules are no, the rules are for you. If you're setting any kind of rules, they're for you, because you're a powerful being, you're an influential being, and there are ways you can move to attract the kind of relationship you're looking for. You're just that much powerful, okay? And if you say, oh, there's no manual to it, you're right, okay? So anything goes.
You're right.
Thing can happen. That's all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one very soon. Take care. God bless. Peace.
This is Ola, Man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag. Yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.